What's goody world? It's the one and only DK The Barber back at again in this week's video. I'm going to be showing you all the things that I use, at least the mandatory things that you need to do a fresh haircut. This goes for all the beginning barbers and the seasoned pros. So no more questioning what you do and don't need as a barber. In today's video, I'm going to show you what you need, but more importantly, we're going to go over some things that you also don't need in the barbering industry. A lot of barbers get all this fancy stuff and you really don't need it. You only need three things. Three things, not one, not two, but three things to get started. So let's go ahead and jump in the video, guys. I'm gonna go over the do's, the don'ts, give you some secondary things you guys can use, and also guide you guys in the right direction. The first thing you need, whether you're a beginning barber or a pro, you want to have some blending clippers, okay? Blending clippers are the clippers usually with a lever on the side of the clipper. That lever on the side controls the size of the blade. These clippers are a fade blade 0 gap, so they blend from a 5/0 down to about a half. Most blending clippers blend from a 3/0 to a 1. If I'm confusing you with all these numbers, I apologize. There's just different types of blending clippers you can get. These are very affordable, especially the burgundy versions of the 5-star magic clips. They have a cord and cordless version of those clippers. The corded version will be about 70 bucks. The cordless will run you about 100 bucks. These golden ones, I think they ran me about $200. I will post all the prices and links to the clippers in the description below. Overall, I've been a fan of the 5-star magic clips for a long time, so I feel you can't lose out with these clippers. They work good with wet hair, dry hair, clip over comb fades, tapers. They're light and affordable. The second mandatory thing you need to get a super wet, nasty, crispy haircut is some trimmers / edging clippers. I have 3 of them because I use each and every one of these for a different thing in my barbering arsenal. But which one should you use? Well, let's start off with these. These are the Gold Skeleton FXs by Babyliss. These are some solid clippers. They're a well-rounded, overall great clipper to use. They work good edging and they work great both shaving the head, going against the grain and with the grain. Me personally, I don't like this DLC 2.0 blade. That's why I don't have them adjusted or 0 gap. I use these personally in my barbering arsenal just for skinning or getting the hair low and ready for the razor. Don't get it twisted though. These clippers are very good when it comes to edging and doing designs. I just don't like to do it with the DLC blade, okay? I like to use other clippers when it comes to that stuff, but I can give you guys some secondary stuff and especially some more affordable options because Babyliss, they can be a little pricey, so let's drop into some secondary options. Now, these trimmers are by Andes. These are the GTX outliners. I really like these clippers. I was using these for everything. These are actually an overall great universal clipper. They work well going against the grain, but I really love the way these hit when it comes to edging and design. So I mainly use these for my designs. I call these my hitters. Now, let me introduce you to the Slimline Pros. These are actually by Andes as well. I love these clippers because they're not just affordable, but they got a little blade. The smaller blade actually helps you get into smaller areas. They're good on kids, helps with designs, eyebrows, around the ears, etc., etc. Overall, great clipper. But what clipper do you like the best? Well, it's all up to the person that's using the clipper. You as the barber, as the artist, what do you like the best? Do you want something a little bit more affordable? Go with the Slimline Pros. If you want something that's a little bit more flashy, go with the Babyliss. Now let's move into the third and final thing you need for a great haircut, which is just a razor. A razor blade can take you places that you can't even imagine. Guys, this is a modern day razor blade. It actually has a disposable razor blade compartment where you put the razor blades and you switch them out in between every haircut. These things are relatively affordable. You can get them as low as $7, $8, probably even cheaper if you look around. And you don't always have to get the nicest equipment. That goes for everything I'm mentioning in the video, guys. You just gotta persevere, be willing to learn, and be willing to grow through failure. Now let's say for whatever reason you don't want to use your straight blade razor on a full-blown skin razor fade, you're gonna wanna invest in a foil shaver. But before we continue, I wanted to give you 3 secondary items you can invest in as a barber to make your life as a barber and artist much easier. Consider it extra knowledge. Now, the first thing you want to invest in to make your life as a barber much easier is a foil shaver. These things shave like 10-15 minutes off your average haircut. Usually if a client walks in the barbershop and wants a razor fade, you would have to do that with a straight blade razor. Some clients prefer straight blade razor, but this will literally cut so much time off your haircut. So invest in this if you have the opportunity, but nothing is better than the OG straight blade razor. I prefer this over other things because when you're using a straight blade razor, your skills are also increasing. So I just tell all beginning barbers, use a straight blade razor in everything you do so your skills will increase. Therefore, you will become a better barber. Now, the second thing I think you guys should invest in to make your life easier is some shears. Now, you don't need shears. I think you should invest in some, and they're not very pricey. You can get them for very cheap, 10-15 bucks for some cheap ones. But if you don't have that, think about just clipper over comb work. You know, I mentioned the comb earlier in the video, and I mentioned the blending clippers. Well, if you combine the two, you can do something called clipper over comb, and you can do that on the top of the hair, getting the same result you would with shears. Last but not least, the third secondary items you guys want to invest in are both brushes and combs. Have a variety of both because you're going to need them. You use different brushes for different things, just like you would use different combs for different things, just like you use different clippers for different things. Remember guys, we are artists, so we want to rotate our utensils depending on what task we have in front of us. I have a thicker brush and I have a softer brush depending on what I need it for. Now this blue comb right here cost me maybe around $10-15, and this thing saves me so much time. Instead of blending from a 2 to a 3 to a 4 to a 5 to a 6 and then blending into whatever the client wants, I can cut all that time down into just clipper over comb. I mentioned it earlier in the video about clipper over comb. If you want to know more about that, visit my playlist called Swift Tips. There you can find a variety of haircut tutorials ranging from tapers all the way to fades and even some designs. With all that being said, remember, I didn't start off with all this, so just breathe and start with what you have. Remember, you don't have to start off great, but you have to start to be great. I didn't start off with all these. I started off with a single blade razor without the razor blade holder. I would literally mix soap with water for shaving solution. Instead of Sanex strips, I would use toilet paper, and instead of a drape, I would use a sheet. I'm humble enough to say, after 20 years of cutting hair, I can honestly say I'm proud of myself. Not just the skills that I acquired, but where I'm at in my career, in my journey. And that's why I created this YouTube channel, so I could share what I know, my knowledge, with you guys, the viewers here on YouTube. Now remember, you only need 3 things to do a great haircut: blenders, edgers, and a razor. And you got to be relentless with your goals. You don't even need that. Start with what you have. Just start and get started. You only need the 4 Ds: discipline, dedication, determination, and DK the Barber. So subscribe, share the video with someone that might benefit from the knowledge. Remember, it's not the clippers that make the barber, but it's you, the barber, that make the clippers. Gotta go. Bye.